cities on the moon! This will be humanity's crowning achievement. At last, no longer bound to the Earth, the moon, a stepping stone to the stars. I did say I wouldn't talk about the words, Chelsea. They did use a semicolon. I just wanted to say it was a good choice. I got you on that one, Rob. I didn't say I wouldn't. The rockets are loaded with supplies and colonists. That's the second semicolon, too many. The robots are programmed and ready. Everything has been planned down to the tiniest detail. And there is no chance whatsoever of failure.
Liars.
To the moon! This is an engine-building, engine-losing tableau game with a shared deck the players build that makes things happen. Many of them bad things that kill people in your moon colony, but some positive and some that let you build up. The game lasts until one player's moon colony has no people left in it, or the players reach the bottom of the event deck. Not likely. The player with the most survivors wins. I feel like they should have mentioned the robots a little bit more.
The robots are ready.
Tonight on the board, boys.
Moon Colony Bloodbath!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Board Boys podcast. Season 17, Episode 8.
Was that pretty fun, Rob?
It was good. Tonight on the docket, Moon Colony Bloodbath by our boy Donald X. Vaccarino.
The X.
This is your boy, Danger Rob Pearson.
This is your boy, Apollo TK.
This is your boy, KitchenAid Jake. Is that what the robot says on his head on the back, on the front?
It is, yes. He looks like a KitchenAid robot.
He does look like a KitchenAid. KitchenAid Jake.
And this is your boy, Boinker X Doinkerino, a.k.a. Dominion.
Hey, how'd you guys feel like playing Dominion tonight?
I've actually never played Dominion.
Me neither.
Are you serious?
I know there's a million expansions for it.
Yeah.
and
Like
it's really
you've never
popular,
even played
but
base
never played it.
Dominion?
Nope, never.
Really?
You must have started playing board games in 2010.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like we need to bust out Dominion.
It's pretty good. Like
Do you
the
still have
original-
Dominion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have like the original, just vanilla one box base game.
You got
Dominion.
Intrigue?
I think I got rid of it. I think I just kept like one base super box.
How many expansions are there? 15 plus?
A bajillion. He said he was going to quit making them.
Like
and he
multiple times.
but then like he needed to buy a new car, so he made another expansion.
We didn't have very much money to make Moon Colony Bloodbath. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I was talking about how I liked the old school kind of components of this one, and it fit with the game. Intrigue is really good. Like it's rated higher than Dominion, right?
Yeah, I think when I went on, I was in Seattle and I was at Mock's boarding house, I think up there, playing some games. And I went to their game night and I just sat down with a couple of old grognards.
I thought that was Portland.
No, it was Seattle.
Okay.
And they just were rocking out. I think I've talked about it on the podcast, but they just rocking out like all the Dominion expansions, and like all I did was play Dominion with them all night, and it was pretty fun. Like they just like kept throwing new combos together. Like for some people, like that game is like the game,
Yeah.
and you can just like slap together however you want. And man, there's a bunch of wild expansions I played with, and I had never dipped that deep into the Dominion bucket.
I have only played 3 of the 15 expansions because I own them, because my buddy Tom Renneker left them at my house 15 years ago.
Thanks,
And
Captain Tom.
And said, hey, I'll pick these back up one day. And I have offered to bring them to him a couple of times. He lives in Des Moines. And he's always like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not playing them, so.
I've lived 15 years without them.
Do you know Tom Renneker?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, good old Tom. He's a good bass player.
He's a good bass player.
Yeah, and a good guy. I also have Seaside, which is fun. It's the thing about Seaside is a lot of the cards, like, you play them and then they like stay in your like tablet, or they stay like in your action area until the next turn, and then when you discard them the next turn, they do something too, or something like that.
Imagine playing a deck building game where the only mechanism is deck building. And that's all you do.
So
You buy cards to make points until some piles of cards run out, and then you score. That's
You
the
do
game.
also shed, depending on what
Well,
cards are in the game.
That's true.
how un-Rob is it that he does not have a single Dominion expansion?
I used to have a couple, but like I kind of moved. I had some buddies that loved Dominion, and like they played it and played it and played it, and like it was fine, but like I just kind of like kept zooting right past it into other stuff. I think that was back more when I was into like Arkham Horror 2nd edition and like I even had like Zombicide. That was in my collection. I had Agricola with the expansion.
There it is.
That was like some in Cosmic Encounter. That was kind of like my OG starter collection.
Do we think Donald X is basically the pioneer of the, like, basically anybody could sit down who has ever played a deck builder and could play Dominion, but like, do you think he's kind of the pioneer of the classic, you start with 2 types of cards in your hand, like, and you draw 5 of them and the other 5 are in the pile, and then basically
I mean,
you buy from a
Dominion was
market?
like the first deck building game. Now, I guess the StarCraft board game did have some deck building in it, and that actually came out a little before then, but this definitely like was one of the games that revolutionized the
Well, even if it wasn't the first one,
genre.
it like all of the DNA of modern deck building games is like based on Dominion.
Yeah, but
Dominion,
like
basically.
nobody makes a deck building game anymore, right? Like here's my new deck builder. It's
Well, you know why that is? Because they're all video games now.
It's-
Video games, there's tons of deck building video games.
That's true, but there's other stuff. Like Dominion is just a pure deck building game. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Like you're just building a deck and just trying to generate an engine, and that's it. Like Clank, you're clanking around a dungeon and doing all kinds of stuff, right? I don't know.
Well, I think they figured out that the deck building like serves a purpose.
Yeah, it complements other things in the game.
Yup.
Well, we are fresh off Capital City Gaming Con here.
Sheesh.
And so we've all played a bunch of games, and we're going to nail some down since we're probably going to have a little shorter review on the Moon Colony Bloodbath. And then for the rest of the episode, we're also going to maybe talk a little bit about the Essen Spiel that's going on right now. I think technically it's going on today, since this is the Friday of Spiel. And we'll kind of go through some of the games, just kind of talk about what we're interested in and not interested in, and hopefully can get those played in the near future. Excited for BGG Con when all those things get shipped over there.
Yeah, I mean, they all come to BGG Con, right? Like,
yes, sir.
There's probably going to be a couple. There always seems to be a couple games that are just like stuck in purgatory between Europe and the United States. Like,
like
Pirates of Maracaibo was one, right?
That don't make it to retail soon.
Right.
Like, yeah, I think like Recall is going to be one, and so is that Orloy game. Like, that Peril Loco games just finally got that other game out there that I can't remember the name of. The Phoenix New Horizon that came out last Essen, like just came out from Devere here. So some of the smaller European publishers just have troubles getting like, or companies don't want to take a flyer on a game and then the game blows up and then it takes like a year to get it over here because that's what manufacturing and shipping takes to.
Yeah, and it costs 140% more than.
Well, right.
normally
And then
does,
everything's just slower because nobody's really sure of what's going on too. So that's like the extra difficulty level.
Yeah, you imagine being like, oh, this game's going to cost me $10 when it gets to the US and it costs you $24. And you're like, well,
Oops.
that sucks.
Well, we normally start the con with Game of Thrones. It did not start off this way this time. We played Stationfall instead, which has been on my shelf for a couple of years. It seemed right up my alley. It's by Matt Eklund and Ion Game Design, and these dudes usually just make really complex stuff. I didn't know what to really expect, and I kind of buckled down and watched the video and made some player aids and read it, and kind of hoping people had at least watched the video to come in, because there's a lot to kind of explain. But ultimately, what did you guys think of it? I thought it was going to be harder to play than it was. Now, maybe to play well, but we were all kind of taking actions and kind of had an idea what was going on. But like, what you do on your turn, ABC is easy, right? Like, you know, you move a thing, you can put some influence cubes out, and basically everyone in this game is a secret identity, but you can move anyone on the space station and activate them. And on one of your turns, you can actually reveal your character, and then nobody else can mess with your character, but then you're going to score maybe less points based on that, or people then can screw with your endgame objective. But we played a 6-player game of this. It plays up to 9. And there were 15 characters on the board, and they all had different actions and all had different abilities. So like, keeping track of everything you could do or would want to do, that was the hard part.
Yeah, because just what you were doing in general was not very complicated. So like, yeah, watching the video or whatever, it was 5 to 10 minutes of actual stuff for the game, and then everything else was like edge cases around what people can do. And like, there are some little nuances to like rooms that you can go into, and these do certain things like that take a little while to explain. But once you kind of see the symbols, it's not It's not too bad.
Yeah, and I like the
Like building a
thematics
bomb
of it.
or-
Like you can like blow up a room and
Yeah.
then like it'll be on fire, and if you're not wearing a helmet, you get knocked out. But if you have a helmet on, you're fine. But then to make that room not on fire anymore, you got to suck all the oxygen out, and then you still need a helmet or you get knocked out. And then you can like put the oxygen back in a room. I don't know. Running around the space station kind of reminded me of Nemesis in that way. Also, kind of the player versus player type aspect, and like everyone's trying to score their objectives kind of secretly. And ultimately, like our game ended up really close. Like for the first half of the game, I'm like, how am I going to score any points? And I think we all kind of felt like that. But at the end, like the point totals in general are like fairly low. So like every point really does matter.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I mean, it's definitely a very social experience with a lot of people. So people who enjoy getting into a role and trying to, be secret about what their goals are, it's definitely a good fit for that.
Yeah, I think you just have to maybe laser your focus a little bit, especially on the first plays of like what you can do, because you only have so many influence cubes, and you actually get negative points if you have too many of them out at the end of the game. So like focusing really on like 2 or 3 characters that you can really influence, I think is probably a good thing to do. On top of the fact that you have a little bribe token, so you can like do a one-off, like, hey, this character's going to do this, or you have the compromat, like those compromising materials. It's kind of like you can flip that over and be like, I'm going to make this guy do this thing. So it's really fun. It was really fun when you could get together and combo a turn together where you got to do like 4 or 5 things and really make something happen. Because normally you could only do 2 things if nobody else had activated that person. And if somebody had activated them, you could only do 1 thing. So like chaining the same person over and over again is really ineffective, which I thought was interesting.
I mean, it makes sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't want someone to just run through the whole space station shooting people,
Yeah. They have this at a weight of 3.94. That feels low to me.
Really?
But yeah, like if you take into account having to remember what everything can do all the time, but if you're talking just, I'm going to play the game at some kind of base level, I could see like a group of people playing this game. And I thought this was like you have to play this game at a high player count because it'd be more fun. I think this game would be fun with like 3 people.
Just because the number of people are still out there.
Yeah, like you still would you would play with less characters on the board. You have a little more handle of what's going on, and like the strategy is still there, and it's just fun racing to the Stationfall and trying to make sure what's going to happen by the time that the whole thing crashes.
Yeah, it was fun. I was expecting it to take like 4 hours. And
I know we played it like in 90 minutes or like 2 hours. So like, and it says 60 to 150 minute playing time on here.
Right.
And it says best 4 to 5. Community says 3 to 6. So we played it on the high side of the community. I couldn't imagine playing it with more than 6. I tried to limit it to 6 people, and I think that was probably a good call.
Yeah.
Because that'd just be way too many people.
Yeah, and it's not
just too many things to track.
And 45 minutes between your turns.
Yeah, I wanted to play this before BGG-Con to see if I wanted to keep it or not. And I think it's unique enough that I think I want to keep it, and it's not that scary to probably get to the table again. It was one of those that people told me how hard, like how much prep you needed to do. And it was just the barrier to entry to me wanting to get to the table was difficult.
Yeah. So perfect for first game of a con.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll talk about one. So I got to play Tidal Blades, which is something I hadn't played in quite a long time. So I think this came out in 2020, and actually I have Rob's copy because Rob had got it on Kickstarter, and it's the really fancy one with all the miniatures and squishy fruits, which is
and the
super
weird
unique.
box shape.
The box shape is literally the worst, but not only the box shape. So it's, for perspective, the game we did tonight, Moon Colony Bloodbath, is a pretty normal box size, but it's basically 2 of those, but stacked vertically, not height, but width. Now width.
So it's like flat and long.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of it looking
That's
like a
the worst.
tombstone, it looks more like a chode.
It's like based on the old. Or no, sorry, it's thick and skinny.
That's
It's
what
like
she
thick
said.
and long. Wait, hang on.
It is
You
thin
guys
and
get it
long.
gross.
Yeah, it is
thin and long.
Thin and long. Yeah.
Small
Is it-
girth,
Okay.
long length.
But like, is it like
Are
a
you down to
Monopoly?
get the friction on?
Like a Monopoly box?
It's like a Monopoly box if Monopoly boxes were like sized for a calyx, but super long.
It
If
was
that makes sense.
Probably 2 Monopolies stacked on top of each
They
other.
didn't,
a
they
little
didn't
bit
learn their
longer.
lesson from the board game box shapes of the 1960s.
You know, Monopoly comes in a square box now.
Yeah, as it should. That's what we call innovation.
With expansions.
You expect Monopoly not to pick up on like the modern game design?
Hey, Cam, hold on. Park Place, 2 houses.
Park Place 2, it's been a long time. I used to be able to do this. Because, okay, so the rent of Park Place is $35. And hang on. I think with hotels, it's $17.50.
Were you in Cam's Monopoly games?
Hang on. Park Place with 2 houses. I want to say $375.
That sounds right. We played a game of Monopoly.
I said 2 houses, right?
Yeah.
It's $500. That's
with 2 houses?
2 houses, yeah.
But it is $17.50 for hotels, right?
$1,500.
Oh, $1,500, right. Because
you're slipping.
Yeah, it's been. I still know. I know the rent of every property base, and I could get most of hotels. But it's like the house. It's just simple math. Like to know the house is like 1 house, 2 house, 3 house, 4. Like it's not like they made up like different algorithms for each property color. But then the fancy one's always worth a little bit more, you know. And I think it's 33% more, right? But then it's a little bit different with Baltic and Mediterranean. Anyway, that's Monopoly.
I remember we played Monopoly not that long ago. I mean, a couple years ago.
It's kind of fun, right?
Like with the actual real rules and stuff, just to like experience that, because I don't know if I've ever played by the actual rules.
Monopoly would be fun if you...
And it only took like 90 minutes.
If everybody has like a time clock and they like start losing dollars for every time like it's not their turn, or it's their turn and they're not like done, and then like you'd put a strict limit on like wheeling and dealing, and you have to start playing the other players if you're still trying to make a deal at a certain time. And then they need like a veto too, where people can be like, no, that deal doesn't pass, and you just have to start being like, hey, I'll give you $100 to let this deal pass. Then that would be perfect.
Anyways, Tidal Blades, bad box shape. Fun game, though. So it's I guess it's worker placement is the primary thing that you're doing, but more or less it's the prequel to the campaign game that's come out most recently, which is Rise of the Unfolders. But what you are doing is you are one of 5 characters, and you are going to these different islands. You take actions that are there in addition to a central island action, and then you try to complete challenges, which basically you use your dice to roll to try to get certain symbols to accomplish it, which then will increase your stats in those categories. And then there are some monsters that come in and you fight them. It's just really unique, and I remember feeling that about it at the time, and I still felt that way upon playing it again. The character cards are really unique and add some nice little combos. Ben, who was playing with us, just had a wild set of combos for the frog guy, which is based on question marks, but like every time he hit him, he was getting all kinds of different things. But I don't know, I still really enjoy it. It's not a game that I'm going to play all the time, but it really came back to me really fast upon just kind of glancing through the rule book, and it plays pretty quick, about 90 minutes, and I don't know, there's a lot to do, and it's fun.
Can you fail the rolls?
You can fail the rolls, and then you basically still get whatever stats you earn, and you get a replacement card for it. So it's not the worst, but it's not great.
I'm trying to remember why like I bounced off this one so hard, and I feel like it had to do with the dice. Which doesn't sound like me, but I feel like that was it.
The cards tell you what you need to have, and there's always like a push it goal. So, most of the early challenges are you just need to roll one symbol, but then you can roll a second one if you want to. And then you have to determine how many dice you want to dedicate to accomplishing that challenge. Then they get exhausted. But then trying to find the little ways to get your dice back. There are 4 different traits that you're developing, which all kind of give you unique advantages. And all the monsters that come in have different rules, especially when you're not playing with the base starter ones. So some of them are like when you do a hit, you got to do 2 hits at the same time, or certain higher level dice. I don't know. I really enjoy it. I think, again, it's just a really unique experience, which is something that I always look for in games. So I'm glad I own it. And, maybe in 4 more years, I'll get it back out and play it again. But
sweet.
I enjoyed it.
You're not upset to store it for the next 4 years? Because I would be.
It's not the only redeeming quality about it is the box is about the same length as Twilight Imperium's box, so I just lay it right on top of that at the very top of my shelves, and that is fine. But it's a terrible box size. I don't know what they were thinking.
I do. They were thinking, hey, let's make sure that everybody hates this box so they keep talking about this game.
If so, they got me 5 years later to talk about it again.
All press is good press. That's we just talking about what we played at the con that we liked.
Something you want to highlight?
Yeah. What's my favorite thing I played at the con that was new? We'll do an episode on Luthier, so probably not that. I finally got to play Duck and Cover, but that was just a party game. But man, what a good party game it is.
I won a copy of Duck and Cover, so that's
I knew you'd
yeah.
like Duck and Cover,
You
Cam.
did, yeah.
Excuse you, your wife won a copy.
You played Core Discovery with me.
Oh, I did play Core Discovery. That was
We've
cool.
reviewed that.
You guys did do a review on that. You know what? That was fun. I didn't really like it when we were playing it because I didn't quite understand how tight of a game it is. But as soon as I grasped that, it made me want to play it again on a harder level. I thought that was cool.
We won.
You won. Okay.
Yeah. It was fairly close, I think.
A place for all my books. Have you brought that up on the podcast yet?
I think I talked about that 2 times ago or something, but that's a fun one.
Yeah, we played that. That was cool. I didn't really understand the concept of not being an extrovert.
I understand that concept.
Yeah, it's like a game about like recharging your social battery so you can go out into the town and go shopping for more books. So you can come back and like recharge your social battery. Basically, you're a NEET who expends all of your social efforts on just getting more books, and then you go in like your room and you move your books around.
I think it's about just doing things that make you happy when you're drained from being around other people, which is very much something that I relate to. When like work travel, being out and doing events, I very much need the time to go back and do Jake things to gear me up for the next time.
Yeah, I'm just making fun of the theme, like just kind of as a goof. Like it was a really fun game. It was a really fun like spatial moving around, like stacking stuff and picking up books and trying to complete little objectives, which I always like stacking, sorting, and completing objectives.
The box looks like it is chocked full of AI art. Does it feel that way with like inside?
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really. The cover is pretty representative of what it is.
I think that the player boards looked nice, but everything else was like, forget about it, kind of. Like the characters and like their actions, like all the player boards were different, and that looked nice to me. It definitely could have been done by AI, because like it's just cartoon art, which AI is pretty good at doing. So
yeah, I don't know that it actually was AI art, but that's what it like. Just looking at the box, it was like, oh, that's an AI art game, but it could be.
No, I think it was the player board characters looked nice. Everything else looked like whatever. The books are cool though, little plastic books, right?
They're wood.
They're wood,
Yep.
Little wood books.
I have the advanced one, which has neoprene mats for everybody's individual apartments, and then the books, they're like, I don't know, a little bit more gilded, like there's kind of a shiny.
Are they like little fat like alma mater books?
They're not like that. I mean, I like the wood that they are, but alma mater.
Hey, you could just buy 4 copies of alma mater, and then you could totally reskin.
Wasn't alma mater like
basically can
$10?
Yeah, at one point, you could just pull because there's 5 colors of books, and there's only 4 colors of Place for All My Books, or are there 5?
There are 5. 4. I think there's 4. There's one for each of the player colors.
Yeah.
I think I know I said this before, but I really enjoyed it. It's a fun puzzle, especially in the fact, and again, I think if the movements weren't so limiting, I don't think it'd be a very good game.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you could just only do so many things, and how you have to set it up is it's a good puzzle for your brain.
Absolutely right. Like it wouldn't be fun if it was freer.
Yeah,
and it was yeah. I beat Jake for about 3 minutes, and then Jake sat there.
I pulled a cam and found a flipped over face down card that scored me 2 more points to get the win.
Yeah,
it was actually in the discard. He just pulled it out. It's like
no, it was an ability that once you use it, you flip it. So I didn't count it when I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
There's no winking because
I had a card that said 50 points once you use it, you flip it, and then I don't know if I counted it or not.
Oh yeah.
That seems
I think
that would do it.
I do believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna put it at a 98%. I'm 98% sure Jake did 2-point me or 1-point me because I win by 1 point.
No, we tied a tiebreaker, and then you had the number of books.
Okay, so I am 98% sure Jake 2-pointed me, but like the 2% of doubt, is it enough to convict? Yes. I'll leave that up to the jury.
All right, one of the bigger games I got to play was a Speakeasy, which is a new Lacerda game. It is a worker placement kind of hand management mob game where you are distilling
making beer or liquor.
Making liquor, right? And distributing it to your speakeasies, nightclubs, and casinos to then sell.
Or stealing it
from the boats. I had a good time with it. I think we're going to do a review on the podcast, so probably won't dive so deep into it, but I did play it twice. The only game I played, well, that's not true. I also played Duck and Cover like 4 times at the con too.
Yeah.
So,
and Terrascape 3 times.
I played Terrascape 3 times. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I played a bunch of games. I don't normally play games a lot of times in the same span. So that was Yeah, but it was fun. I got to play with the two of you.
Yeah, any game where you can score over 300 points is tight.
Yeah, it's all money in your safe or in your hand.
There's a lot of really unique things to it, and I think more so than a lot of other Lacerdas, it seems pretty intuitive, the things that you're doing. And I mean, there's a couple little wrinkles for how things go that maybe wouldn't go the way you would expect, but I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to talking about it and playing it again.
My top level it seemed like there's lots of fiddly setup for the rounds and things, a lot of seeding the board for things. It seems fiddly, but the gameplay seems fairly intuitive, even though there's a ton of choices. And the player aid, I mean, it's a really good player aid, little booklet thing that explains them all. So I basically did a rolling teach for me, and I just kind of jumped into it. And by the end of the game, I think I had a handle on it. So
I mean, you won, and you definitely did not maximize all your actions.
No,
so
I definitely was just pulling levers and seeing what could happen. So, but because the theme shines through on this one, like it makes sense, like the order of operations, which you have to do things, right? There's a couple weird things where like sometimes you have to, like when you steal the beer, it can go anywhere, but if you make it, then you actually got to deliver it or something.
Yeah, you make it at your distillery, and then you got to
but you can't sell it to the distillery, otherwise the fuzz knows where your distillery's at.
Yeah,
so you gotta
move it.
Yeah.
There's
a older game called Bootleggers that I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
Similar theme, probably not nearly as heavy.
That's probably true.
But
it didn't feel...
I've never gotten my hands on it.
It didn't feel as like brain bending as like Inventions or On Mars.
No, and it really is driving me to grab my copy of Escape Plan that I rebought and get that out, because that is another thematic, more accessible Lacerda. I mean, this one I think is much more going on than Escape Plan is, but the theme shines through in both of those very well, I think. Plus, they both have cops chasing you. So.
Love it.
But I really liked like the territory fighting and stuff in this one, like all like the mobsters that you can befriend or
that you can't
whatever.
Go take them over and you can hire them and
So that was fun.
It was fun.
I'm excited to play it again. I want to talk about Dark Moon. This is a game from 2011, baby. And
this was one of the first games I ever played with you.
Is it?
Yeah. The first time I came to your house, we played it.
Yeah, I'm really sad that this has sat on my shelf for so long. This is a re-implementation of Battlestar Galactica, and it originally was called BSG Express. So somebody just wanted to make a faster game of Battlestar Galactica,
and they succeeded
with dice. And that's basically what it is. And like the base game's fine. There's an infected team and a not infected team, and they're trying to sabotage the base, and the good people are trying to, fix the base and do all these tasks. And you roll dice behind a screen. The problem is only 2/3 of all the dice sides are good. So you could roll all your dice and fail and have to put out a bad result.
2/3 of all the dice sides are bad.
Sorry, 1/3 of the sides. So there's only 2 positives. And to submit a success for something, you have to submit a positive sided dice. So 4 of the 6 sides are negative. So there's a good chance you're going to roll all negatives and have to submit a negative one anyway and look sus. And the game was fine, but if you've not played it with the Company Man expansion, I should get the actual name of it.
It's called
If you have not played with the Dark Moon Shadow Corporation expansion, which it came out in 2017 actually, so much newer, it really like takes this game and turns it on its head and amps it up to 11.
Hang on, Shadow Corporation came out in 2017?
Yeah.
Well, it's not one of the first games I ever played with you then, because I've never played without the Shadow Corporation.
No.
Well, and you know what? Maybe I have. We played it in that room.
Yeah. We did.
Were you still gaming in there in 2017?
I have no idea, dude. I don't.
I started going to board games where you were at in 2012. So we've been friends for 13 years. That's pretty good.
Dang, Daniel.
Yeah. I've known Tim slightly longer than that. Jake slightly less time than that.
So the Shadow Corporation expansion just has a bunch of modules.
I've known you a lot longer than that. Yeah, we've known each other for like 20 years. Yeah.
And at this point, I think I just always play with everything when I play Dark Moon. And it took a little bit to come back the first time I played it this year, but I played it a couple times since. And God, it's just so slick. And even trying to explain how you win and lose. So why the expansion is good is it adds in a third faction called the Company Man. And he is the sketchy dude from Alien that's trying to like infect somebody and take him to Earth to, for the company to study or whatever. And they win by themselves. And they take the place of one of the uninfected. But the thing is, they're not always in the game. It's random if they're in the game or not. So you have to take that into account when you're deciding how you want to win. And it adds another way to get, instead of fixing the base or doing the tasks or breaking the base, you now can vote people on the ship and send them off to Earth. And so basically, the company man wins if he sends an infected to Earth. The infected wins if they get to Earth on the plane or the spaceship and there was no company man. So it's scary for them to get on there. And there only needs to be one. And if the uninfected win, if it's all full of uninfected people on that plane. And then there's these cards where you have to do bad juju stuff if you're the uninfected to win the game if you want to win any other way. So you might be like, okay, well, we'll just do the tasks. That's easier. Well, now you also have to maybe amputate somebody's arm or show somebody your roll card or this or that. And so it just adds a little twist to it. You never really sure, even if you're like, I know who the infected are, and the infected and uninfected have figured each other out. No one's really sure if there's a company man in the game, so you're not sure how you can actually push the game to like the correct victory path.
Well, the nice thing is
I think that's
that
cool.
One win condition is the uninfected could win or the infected could win, but if the infected win, the company man could win. And the other way is that
only one of the three people of three
well,
factions
no,
win.
so what it is, the way they have the company man teeter-tottered, though, is there's two endgame conditions. And on one endgame condition, it's straightforward for the uninfected, but if the infected would win, but the company man does his goal, then the company man wins. And then on the other side, it's straightforward for the infected, but then if the uninfected win, if the company man completes his goal, the company man wins. So there's a teeter-totter with the company man where, like, if you have one team win like a certain way, you could be totally hosed out of being able to win. So you always, as a company man, have to be bouncing it back and forth between the two, trying to do the thing.
Yep.
It's set up really nice to leave a lot of ambiguity in there.
Yeah, and there's just lots of room to kind of, because your dice rolls are secret, you get to choose cards and pick what you say is the correct choice for the group, and nobody gets to look at the other one. Like, so there's lots of decision points and lots of fun.
I got brained out by Ben when we played really bad. I knew you were infected.
Yeah,
but
the problem is, I think it's probably hard to find this game at this point, but if you can find a copy of Dark Moon, I would definitely give it a shot.
We were, Tim and I were reminiscing about a time we played at Cam's house, and we got to the point where Cam was convinced that we had seeded the deck wrong because of the way that we were trying to figure out who was who. But that was fun.
Yeah, it was correct. The person that was infected was just so good at pretending not to be infected that we couldn't figure it out.
Was it you?
No, it was Bill, who's been on the podcast before. But also, it was so far to the extreme that, like, he wasn't even getting himself in position to win either, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, didn't we just, like, easily win?
Yeah, I think we guys...
And I think that's why I thought it was seeded wrong.
Yeah.
I think Bill was sneaky.
Yeah, he was sneaky. I think we ended up sending somebody out. I think we figured it out. But yeah, it was maybe a little bit too far on the pretending not to be bad.
In that same vein, there's a newer game that I want to talk about called This Game is Killer. And there's a newer version of that one called This Game is Killer Frozen Horror, which is more like the thing. The first one is called This Game is Killer Alien on Board, and this is more like aliens on the spaceship. In both of these games, you're basically dealt two cards on it's a snake, not draft, but you play your cards in a snake pattern. You either play a card for the action or you play a card to say where you are. And then the cards do all kinds of stuff like lock doors, blow up rooms, kill other players. And the goal of the people is to basically kill the alien and live. But this game is like the super party version of Dark Moon, I think. And like it plays like in 10 or 15 minutes. The Frozen one is more kind of like the Thing based. And it's kind of cool because you actually can move on the map. And instead of saying I'm now in the brig or I'm in this room, you actually like play the card and it's got colors on it and you move in the pathways around the base. But the thing is, people can like lock down the rooms and like so you can get locked in the room with the alien. And in that one, everyone's dealt a secret role, and every round who the alien is or the thing is can be a different person. So it's not the same person. So it's not like if you are bad at lying or don't like to be the one in those like hidden games, that's fine. Just after this round, you may not be that person anymore. I think I like the spaceship one better. There's a little less going on. When the Frozen one drug out a little bit at the end, and I don't know if that was just that one play we had, but for like $15, if you like this kind of like crazy, zany decision of like, sometimes you get dealt a card and you're like, well, I'm in the airlock and I'm also blowing up the airlock, but I guess I'll just shuffle it up and deal and I'll be in next game.
Yeah, or you are in someplace and you flip the alien card the first round and you kill yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Tim. Tim had a string of murdering himself in games.
That is true.
At Capital City Gaming Con fairly early.
That's true.
All right. A game that is not like that is Saltfjord. Tim and I played this. It's one that, as soon as I saw that it was from the Aporta Games folks and Christian Amundsen Otsby and Elif Svensson, I think, Cam, I played the
Santa Maria
with you before.
which is a good game, but Saltfjord looked better.
Did we review that game?
No.
We've just talked about it,
Just
maybe?
talked about it.
Yeah, Saltfjord is all about fishing and kind of building up your fishing village. And we grabbed it and we were wondering how long it was going to take. It said 45 to 90. And in a 2-player game, we taught and played it in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, because we didn't know how to play it at all. So we read it out of the rule books, got it done. I guess I think I'd played Santa Maria before. I think you had too, but it's not close enough to have remembered.
I really wish I don't know, Cam, if I explain this, will you tell me how close it is to Santa Maria?
Yeah.
So basically, you're just drafting dice, and then when you draft the dice, it will activate. There's white dice and orange dice.
Yup.
White dice activate the columns, orange dice activate the rows.
Which is basically the same as Santa Maria so far, except for the Santa Maria orange dice are blue.
Okay. And when you do that, you basically go down and you activate every single building, and then it stops on the last building, and then that spot's blocked. And that's basically what you do. Like, the actions are build a building, and you're just trying to like build up your board to make it better. You can go fishing, move your fishing boat down the river and get these tiles, and you fill up your fishing boat, and then you take it back. There's
that sounds new.
There's super power tiles. Like, we all had starting abilities that were different. There were tracks you could go up for endgame scoring.
That were tech tracks.
There were tech tracks. Then you would get technology during the game, and you would get endgame scoring depending on how far up you were on them.
Are there contracts in Saltfjord?
There were contracts.
In Santa Maria, there's 4 different types of contracts,
Yep.
and you build them out on
the
side
right
of your board.
Yep. You build it on the side of your board, and then like you get to activate the symbol that many times on the side of the board.
Yeah, and you score.
Was it resource collection where you can like trade better resources down or whatever?
Yeah, so your board,
and you can only hold so many.
No, you can hold as many as you want on this one. The player boards are cool. They're kind of like, there's 3 base resources, 3 middle resources, and then gold. And as a free action, you can always downgrade a resource. One of the actions is like to upgrade a resource, and you can always pay 2 fish to upgrade a resource, which halfway through the game, I'm like, I have 1 billion fish. What am I supposed to do with this? And then we realized right there on the player board, it was printed. You can do it to upgrade. So the resource like manipulation was really cool. All in all, like, I really dug it. I just like leaned really hard into the fishing because it's a game about fishing, and it was fun to do the little boat thing. Yeah, I think it has a lot of the bones of Santa Maria, it sounds like, with maybe a better theme.
Yeah, it was very fun. I liked it a lot.
This is, I have another thing I want to talk about, but this is more a game that we've definitely talked about before, but it's more of I guess, an experience that I got to have for the first time, which was really neat. So I think my highlight of the con was I brought my daughter Nora with me on the last day, and she really likes the game Spots, which is kind of Yahtzee-esque. You're rolling dice based on these tricks you take for guards or dogs, and then you're trying to fill 6 dogs with dice. But I watched my daughter set the game up, grab the players wanted sign, and set it at a table, and somebody came over, and she taught them the game, and the 2 of them played it, and it was just, I don't know, it was a fun father moment for a kid who enjoys board games and taught somebody else that board game. So seeing my love for board games represented through her was really, really neat. So
yeah, it's fun to watch that stuff happen and unfold for sure. All right, well, why don't we jump into our the Board Boys Essen preview, even though I guess it's going on now, so
yeah,
not as much of a preview. I'm just going to look at the hotness list from the thumbs, and we'll just kind of go down them, because I'm going to guess if we were to pick some of these out, these would be the ones we'd be picking out. The number one on here, and my number one, is called Orloj, the Prague Astronomical Clock. And it is from Paraloco Games, the same people that did Phoenix New Horizon, that has that really cool worker placement mechanism. And they just, like, because I like that game so much, the pictures of this game look fantastic. And I didn't even know this was a real thing. But like, this clock in Prague is bonkers. I've like been reading on the Wikipedia and stuff about it. The game is beautiful. It is action retrieval, rondelle, set collection, tech trees, tech tracks, worker placement is kind of what it says. So this is one that is super high on my list to check out, and it's just pretty. Like the stained glass on the stuff. Yeah, it's a mid-weight heavy Euro 3.5 weight right now, it says.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I've been watching it on the hotness for a while, and it looks like it's the first/second. It looks like there's a roll and write maybe by one of the designers ahead of time, but not like they've done a whole lot before that.
Amelia looks like she did Salt and Sea and a couple other games. So
nice.
Yeah.
The next one's Recall. I mean, it's by the people that did Revive, and it's like a Revive spiritual successor. Hook me up, baby. I mean, we just talked about these people doing Saltfjord. I mean, Recall, look at that giant eyeball.
And so it's basically a re-implementation of Revive.
I think it's just the next game by them. It doesn't say it re-implements.
I mean, it has a lot of, if you look at the stuff, it's got a lot of Revive vibes. It also has this thing where you're going to like take this civilization, and then at the end, I don't really understand how it works, but you can like upload it to like the web, and then like other people can use your civilization or something in the future.
Ooh.
I don't know. There's some kind of weirdness with that. I don't know exactly what's up with that. SETI Space Agencies. We've reviewed SETI. The expansion looks tight. Who doesn't want more monsters or aliens and variable player powers? And there's going to be like a prelude kind of thing, Cam. So,
oh, really cool.
Yeah, to jump you in faster. You guys might be more on this bandwagon. Fea's Swamp. This is the Terra Mystica people that are finally doing a game that's not Terra Mystica or some reimplementation of Terra Mystica.
Or Gaia Project.
Yeah, but this is a reimplementation of like an older game that was kind of like whatever. I don't know if you guys have seen much about this or not.
I've looked at it several times on there and seeing when it's available, but I mean, it looks cool. The art looks cool, and
yeah.
I don't know if you know about me, bro, but I live under a rock right now.
Nature is just a reimplementation of Evolution. It was at Gen Con. Get out of here.
I played that once on BGA, and I don't think I got the BGA taint. I just didn't think it was very good.
Nature?
Yeah.
Or
no,
Evolution?
Evolution.
Well, I used to have one of the Evolutions.
I shot you a key to Nature. Have you tried the digital version?
No,
yet?
let's play it.
Okay.
Let's play it, bro.
Covenant is the new Jermaine P. Milan game, and that one's from Devere, and it's about dwarves.
This one looks really
Pee-wee
cool.
Herman.
So hook me up. And I guess this box is heavy. So there's a lot of bits and bobs. I think Botoku level of stuff.
Probably kind of like Botoku.
Kind of like Botoku. Ada's Dream is from Alley Cat Games. I backed this on Kickstarter like 2.5 years ago. It'll show up at my house sometime. It's about the lady that built like the first computer, I think, or something like that. Coming of Age is a Danny Garcia gem by Ludanova. The box art on that looks tight.
That does look tight.
And like I don't think a game they have not really made the game of life, like the gamer good version of it.
They have.
Stronghold did that one.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, that's about as close as I can think of it, but
I'm looking forward to Druids of Adora, which is a fell that is not Queen Games. The last one of those was Civolution, so
yeah,
excited to see what comes from that.
Get out of there. I've heard Sanctuary's up here. That is the Arc Nova tile layer game, and I've heard they might have made the game maybe too simple, or like they went way too far. But if you want Arc Nova and a tile laying,
I do not.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Echoes of Time is Simone Luciani, and I keep looking at this game. I don't know if I don't know. Cranio, I'm not sure, has me with this one because it's a hand management game. I I don't know. Have you guys looked at Echoes of Time at all?
Nah.
I saw that it was Luciani, but that's about the extent of what I've looked
Okay.
at for it.
Well, Voynich Puzzle's up there. It's also on the table behind Tim, and we've played a half a game of
The
that.
game was so good.
We kind of played half a game of that.
I was doing really good. I had like 50,000 points.
Except that you were complaining the whole time because you couldn't do one action that you wanted to do.
I had 0 points.
That was, well, the thing about the Voynich puzzle is that, I was just like completely blocked out of doing multiple actions that are possible during the game. But it's still my favorite game that they ever made.
Yeah, I haven't hit the list yet, but Tim just pointed at IR. That's from Osprey Games, and that is the 3rd game in the Fabio Lopiano, I don't know, green-orange box series.
Are they like
That's what
connected?
I'm
Because it's
calling.
Merv and then it's Sancore.
Yeah.
And then it's this.
Yeah.
Merv.
I don't know if they're getting heavier or what, but that box is pretty heavy.
Syncori is pretty heavy.
Yeah,
too,
it's pretty chunky
Yeah.
as well. The White Castle Duel, which I guess is not even close to the game White Castle. They made it fairly different. But the next one is going to get Underwater Cities off the shelf for me, and that is Underwater Cities Data Era.
Is it expansion?
It is an expansion, and I think it's a fair, like, the stuff that they added in seems very cool. You guys have already played Luthier,
Luthier? Yeah.
and you guys are digging that.
Luthier's tight.
The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth Allies. It's like a little card pack for Sweet Game, which you guys just bought, right?
No, we didn't. I just saw it. Oh,
No.
the base game.
Yeah,
Yes,
you and-
I played it a bunch in the
Yeah.
last like 3 days. Yeah,
He's on
Had you
it.
played it before you played with Remy?
do
Do you like
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
fun. Did he lay out all the red cards?
He did. Yeah,
Yeah.
and see all the art together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
I've come around on that art.
You
big
hated it at
time.
first,
I
didn't you?
know. I like it now. Here is, you know what? This would probably, if I was going to do my top 3, it would be Orloy, Recall, and then Aquaria is the new Delicious game about making cool aquariums. And this is from Tomasz Hollick, which, I mean, the dude hasn't missed yet for me. So
Tomasz.
I don't know. We'll see. Like,
I think for me, Covenant and the New Fell, they're probably the top of my list.
yeah. I'm interested in Ants because it looks like Rats of Wistar, but I don't think it plays anything like that.
Do you guys find it weird when games do that?
Like
It was
use the same
Bees a couple
art.
years ago. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, like use the same art.
Yeah.
You're not.
Em was praising it when we did the Coimbra and Alma Mater lookbacks.
How they had the same art in 2
Yeah.
of the games. I like that. I thought it was
Okay.
cool.
I would say we can just stop our list here because I'd have to hit show more. But Tax the Rich is one that
I'm looking forward to that
you
one too.
mentioned. I don't know anything about it, but it's the same company that is doing Recall.
Yeah, I think it's trick taking, and I forget what the wrinkle in there is. But
Okay, team-based trick taking, humor and politics. It says you flip the card and heart. If it says flip the card, maybe you can play the cards in multiple directions or something. Cool. Well, that is the Essen preview, I guess, which is mostly just the top thumb games, but those are the ones I'm most interested in anyway. Hopefully they all make it to BGG Con and I can get them figured out and report back. Because
Don't.
who knows how long it'll take for them to get over here.
Yeah, don't start one at midnight that you don't know yet.
Good call.
Yeah.
Well, when I go down there, it's going to be a bit of a different crew this time, but we like to try to like split up like learning different things. And when I'm not driving down there, I'm generally like reading a rule book, like figuring it out. Like last year, I had Civolution down pat that time because we played it like at the hotel on the way there, and then like I figured out all the crap we did wrong, and we played Civolution against my best judgment straight out of the rule book the first time. Jeremy Thoman and I did.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It went fine.
Okay.
We got most of it correct, I think.
Love it. Poor Jeremy.
He loved it too. I mean, he bought a copy.
He did and played it like 7 times right in a row.
I've sold so many copies of Civolution, I think.
he also bought SETI and then sold it to Tim and then bought SETI again.
Thank you, Jeremy.
That might be my favorite Jeremy story because he bought it with the promo and sold it to you. Now Jeremy doesn't have a promo. Sad.
I mean,
He doesn't have Pluto.
good for me.
It is good for you. All right. Well, tonight on the podcast, we played Moon Colony Bloodbath. We have to quit reviewing space games. It's another space game.
No. More space games.
There are more themes than space games, right? Or than,
Everything's space.
Let's do a zombie game next, or what? Trading in the Mediterranean.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too long before all of those start getting reskinned due to
What if what about trading in the moon? I mean, this is the second moon game we've played in the last 3 episodes, right?
Dude, as soon as we take over the moon, all that stuff's going to have to get changed. I know we're not going to do it right.
Do you think the Moonanites are up there?
I do think the Moonanites are up there. Terraforming moon.
There's not enough floppy hats on the moon.
Oh, I guess speaking of that, they did announce Terraforming Mars Legacy. If you're,
That's the
like
exact same thing I
Mars.
thought. Yeah.
Which is funny. Like, I think Stephen Bonacore actually let this slip that they were working on this. I think to like on talking with BJ from Board Game Gumbo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because he posted a video about it, and like he wasn't supposed to say anything, but then everybody forgot because it never happened, and here it is 6 years later when maybe nobody cares. Whatever, it's gonna make $1 billion probably, but I don't care.
Is
I don't
Terraforming
really
Mars still hot? I feel like it's
No.
not hot no more.
I don't even like Terraforming
No.
Mars.
I mean,
don't
like,
think so.
it kind of did what it needed to do. A bunch of new games that are kind of like it came out, and all of them kind of fixed what was sloppy about Terraforming Mars, you know?
Terraforming Mars for me got the like over expansion thing.
Yeah,
just-
big
It most
time.
definitely
Yeah.
did.
Big time.
I remember liking the Prelude thing, but I never really liked Terraforming Mars to begin with.
I
don't
did.
know.
Yeah, Prelude was nice.
Yeah.
Like, and just maybe one expansion gave it enough juice, but like it is definitely long. It was a
The
3 hour
final
game.
one killed me.
Yeah.
Whatever it was called, like Crisis or whatever it was called, where you have like the whole, like all of the like the people,
And the
like the
Senate
area
and
control
stuff.
in
Yeah.
the Senate,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, that was brutal. And then Colonies, I went back and played Colonies and been like, this doesn't need to be here. Venus Next, I like because it's basically just Terraforming Mars with one more tag, and then Prelude is like, yeah, give me Prelude. That just makes the game shorter. So
I don't think I've ever played an expansion to.
That's pretty
Terraforming
impressive
Mars.
that you could just list all those expansions.
well, I was way into Terraforming Mars the first year it was out when they dropped every single expansion to it. It was like they dropped expansions so fast for that game, which is ballin' for them.
Don't play it without Prelude.
Yeah, Prelude rips.
All right, well, tonight on the podcast, we played Moon Colony Bloodbath. It came out in 2025. It is currently ranked 1,388th overall, and that is a 7.6 on BGG currently. Try to survive in this engine-building, engine-losing tableau game. It is 1 to 5 players, best at 4, ages 14 plus, 45 to 90 minute playing time. The weight is 2.17 out of 5. The designer is Donald X, gonna give it to you, Vaccarino.
The X.
Franz Vollwinkle did the art, and the publisher is Rio Grande Games. And that all checks out to me. Tim, what are you doing, Moon Colony Bloodbath?
Die. You basically die. So in Moon Colony Bloodbath, you are flipping a deck that is seeded with some starting cards, and that is determining what you do for the round. So there are a bunch of events that will get added kind of one at a time, and you will run through this deck. It will do things like remove people, it'll do things like trade one resource for another. And then there's 4 cards in the deck that let you run work, which is where you can take one of your kind of 5 main actions, which is get money, get food, get cards, play a card, and then the other one is put crates on your building. So when you play a card, you build these buildings. They're also people, which is all your points, and you will kind of run through any of those buildings. They let you do things like add twists, add robots, add perk cards from your deck that get you more stuff, and you will kind of just run through this deck as many times until someone loses all of their people, which is people on your board and destroying all your buildings. So you kind of build a tableau and then wreck it on your way back.
Or you make it to the final event card.
Yeah, probably.
Or you do. I had a pretty good thing going, but it was getting pretty brutal there.
Well, and yeah, well, we'll talk more about that when we come back with our thoughts on Moon Colony Bloodbath. All right, we're back. Initial thoughts time on Moon Colony Bloodbath by Donald X. Vaccarino and Rio Grande Games. I'll start. I think I originally saw the box for this and I was like, haha, Rio Grande Games. You're not going to get me with this one. And I would have punted it. I wanted nothing to do with this game. And I was like,
seriously, a game called Moon Colony Bloodbath
Well,
and you didn't want it?
no, I
That's
mean,
like,
like-
the most Rob name for a game I've ever heard.
I thought that was kind of clever. And like, I didn't really know much about it. And then I started doing a little research on it. I'm like, that actually sounds kind of cool. And so I picked it up.
I remember seeing it was just super, super hotness all the time on there, and I was just kind of like, I wonder what it is about this game. And other than I didn't really know a ton about it outside of Rob talking about it, but my first play at Capital City Gaming Con was super fun. It's really unique, and I really enjoyed it.
Until you took it down to Capital City Game Con, like people have been playing it at Dungeons Game Night, all this stuff. I thought for sure this was like just another like Halloween type dudes on a map like run around and kill zombies game
There's no
on the
map.
moon. Like right, like that's what I thought. Like looking at the thing and having people talk about, I thought this was like a Halloween thriller game on the moon. It is definitely not that. So I'm glad that it's not. But I had absolutely no interest in playing that
that'd be
game.
pretty tight.
Yeah, I mean for you,
Terrascape on the moon.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was more like murder party, assassin party on the moon.
We bring
Yeah.
that game up
Yeah.
so frequently on the podcast.
That was probably Bo's original favorite game.
That's what I thought. Like,
Wasn't
looking
Grouch
at the
Couch?
box, yeah.
Ooh, he liked Grouch Couch.
Grouch Couch was tight.
Cam, what about first person for you?
So when I saw it was DXV, so I knew it was going to be weird. Because like Donald X, man, like he's like every game he puts out that's not Dominion is like 2008 coded still. Like he's solidly a mid-aughts designer. And so I knew it would have kind of like that old school feel, which I'm calling 2008 old school because I think board games changed like to the modern era of board games in like something like 2013 or so. Like sometime between 2011 and 2015, right? There was the golden age, which is like Sid Saxon, and then there's like the Euro game, which is like the 90s to like the mid-aughts, and then the mid-aughts to like the mid 2010s is like the era of like the way Moon Colony feels, right? Did I over-explain that? Yes, dude. But that's exactly what I was thinking it was going to be like, and it was exactly like that. And I had a blast playing it tonight because it reminded me of what board games were like when I first started playing board games all those years ago.
I mean, if you want to jump into it,
Also, one thing, can I just say one thing about DXV?
sure.
If you Google DXV, the main picture of him, like Google shows, is him eating at like a Denny's
Tight.
with like a bunch of like bacon plates in front of him.
I went to a game night one time when I was out a place for work, and I guess I think he lives near Berkeley or something, and he does a lot of playtesting and stuff out there. And I missed him on a night that he wasn't out there playtesting and stuff. I know, right? I probably could have played Moon Colony Bloodbath like before it came out.
Yeah, it's 3 years.
Anyway, the thing that struck me about this game was just how easy it was to learn and play. I guess since it's a card engine building thing, and he did Dominion, and Dominion is like the granddaddy of deck builders, and it is dirt simple to play. Like, it shouldn't have been any surprise to me. I also wasn't expecting it to be simultaneous play, and that rocks. I mean, like, as long as you're only as slow as your slowest player, and like if you get up to the cam level tableau over there, as he did tonight, like you get bogged down on what you got to do. But I've never, like, Cam had the most stuff going on I've ever seen. And I think we were a bit fortuitous with our card draws this evening.
And it wasn't even too bad. Like maybe like near the end of the game, there were a couple times I was like, hold up.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's been games that I have won of this where I've never had more than like 6 or 7 buildings in front of me, and I ended up winning. Tonight I had more than that, and I went out first. So go figure. I'm not sure what a winning strategy is in this game. But
Exploiting a combination of something.
yeah, there's definitely like finding that combination of cards that can feel good. But the thing is, what are those cards called? The 2 cards you added at the beginning of the game.
Twists.
Yeah, the game can completely be different based on what 2 twist cards come out. And there's 2 types of twists. For your first one, they tell you to put in like the easier ones. I just mix them all together and take 2 random ones. And tonight, both our twists were nothing bad. Like, sometimes those are not great. They were both just, hey, have some more stuff. So I think that kind of juiced us up as well.
Yeah. Teaching it was 5 minutes. I don't know why anybody would want, like, why would you prefer it at 4? You could play it at 5. I don't know what the real difference would be besides maybe like it gets harder at 5 because the 5th player is also maybe adding bad things in. But
Very possibly.
it doesn't really add much time to the game, I would think.
I wouldn't think so
it
either.
shouldn't, and that's a big pro. I mean, there's not a lot of games that play well at 5, and I think this would play just fine at 5. Also, this would play great at 1,
right?
Because there's literally almost no extra rules. You play with that extra loneliness card, which basically just makes you lose or add people based on what buildings you've bought. There's like a little symbol on the cards.
I will say, this is going to sound strange coming from me, but I feel like this game would kind of lose its point at one point. Because it's kind of about this outlasting everybody else. If you're by yourself, it wouldn't have the same vibe.
But if you're playing by yourself, you'd be like, all right, I'm going to try to get through the whole deck. You know, like you'd have maybe a greater chance of seeing that final card and actually finishing it.
That's true.
You only have yourself to blame. So to me, it'd be more like a challenge. Like I wouldn't care what I stored. I'd be like, did I make it to the end?
Yeah. So I mean, we're fully into pros now. But one of my favorite things about the game Ponzi Scheme, which I think is a really fun game. Obviously, very different in regards to what you're doing, but it's just kind of like, how can I make this rickety thing last? And I really enjoy that about this, like trying to figure out what the right thing to give up is, looking around to see where everybody else is, because it does matter the rate at which you tear your things down in comparison to everybody else. So I really enjoy that level of interaction, which again is a strange pro for me. But
this game's become with giant player screens, so nobody knows exactly where you're at people wise.
I mean, it's hard to count to
like
see see all of the people they have on buildings, but.
And I don't really think it would make much difference in my decision making based on my count, because tonight I knew that I was probably going to go out first. And sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes you play it and you're like, I'm just cruising along, and sometimes like you're on the struggle bus.
Yeah, it's probably because
there's no in between.
I'm going to say, for me, probably a prawn is that like it seems like there's a lot of the card variety in the buildings, and if you can hit something that's maybe really good. Or you can something like you could just not get things that combo together. And I feel like for a game that you have a hump, no, it's not even a hump, but like to continue going, you kind of have to have something that you repeat over and over again. I thought I was going to go out first. I ended up getting a card that let me do like get rid of boxes and get rid of boxes to get, to negate a card and then get boxes. So like I kind of got over that running, and then Rob went out. So it's like you don't get a busted combo or something like that. There's enough in there that it's fine, but like you could definitely get to a place where Cam had 70 cards out and 53 people left.
I went to take a leak. Are we at cons already?
Yeah,
I'm talking like back and forth about like yeah.
Well, that I totally agree. Like, and I know this is a con of the game, right? But very much so. I think because of the nature of the game, if you're doing really good and you just have more stuff and more ways to survive, it becomes pretty clear that, and it becomes easier to mitigate like the bad stuff that happen. It's like, oh, I'll just build a card so I can destroy it and hey, this is the costs. It's nice. Here's a pro for me. It's nice that if your work actions are pretty limited so that you can't just keep spending your resources. Like even I hit a point with all my stuff where it's like, well, I don't have enough actions in the round to continue building with all my money and whatnot to like keep just laying cards out there. So there came a point where I had to start destroying stuff, but it was like a few rounds later than you guys. But it does go downhill pretty quick once you take that really painful hit, which I never did, but I would have soon.
I mean, there were definitely times where you were like, I don't know what building to get rid of, and you definitely felt that pain some, but you just hadn't hit full collapse yet by the time.
Yeah,
again, that's it.
I was having to start making like slightly bad decisions, but I never had to mess with like the main mechanism that was keeping me pretty flush.
I think it's cool that you can basically play cards that will juice up certain actions. It's like certain work actions. I like some, like the cards all kind of do different stuff, and it's really neat. Some of them you get abilities when you play them. Sometimes it's one that when it blows up, you get something when it blows up. So you might play it mostly for that ability. And adding in like your own perk cards into the deck is fun, because when those come up, you're like, I get something and you guys don't. But like I never added a perk at all this game when I went out first. And the last time I played, I won and I never added a perk either. I think maybe I don't value enough of like the card drawing in this game. And maybe that's more important than I think it is, just because the more cards you see, the better the chance you have to kind of get some kind of synergy with the cards. The thing is, if you spend all your time drawing cards, you're not doing anything else. And you really need to be like playing your cards and building your buildings. So it's a fine line to figure out exactly what you want to do and what path you want to go down. And what you draw is going to determine that.
I think one of my favorite things about this game is, and I am not somebody who is deterred by a large deck of cards and potentially after reading to understand what those cards are and how to link them together, but you get a lot of that feel for really low overhead because there's very limited information on cards. And so having a hand of cards doesn't necessarily have that overwhelming feeling that some games give you when you're like, I'm not even going to, I know I've heard Tim say a lot of times, I'm not even going to read these cards that are in my hand, but they're mostly just, this is what the card does, and then is there a bonus you get when you play it, and is there a bonus you get when it's destroyed? And so, because it's an accessible amount of information in what they do, you can still build those combos and what the engine is going to play off each other without having to put in the time that some games require of you to do that. So I think that this is an interesting way to give you that feel in a much more accessible package.
They're also color coded with the actions too, which is nice. So you can easily like put all your green cards together and know when you farm, all these green cards activate, or the yellow ones activate with the mine. So it took me a while to realize that, and like the organization of your cards kind of matters, especially if you get a bunch of them.
Here's a pro. I like that even though there's no functional difference between all of the players, that they took the time to come up with some fun characters. I do think that Jake's was a little like boring because Tim had like the hippie dude and Rob had like the goofy looking like Virgin Airline kind of guy. And I had Dr. Brain, which was like above and beyond the best character. And then you had just like Dr. McGee, and she's just like, hey, I just want to help. And it's like, that's not funny or fun, you know? It's just like, why'd you put a normal person here, right?
Yeah, I gave you Dr. Brain for a reason.
I know, and you know what?
I knew it. You would love it.
By the way, the name Dr. Dibson is really good. I don't really get it, but it's so funny.
Dr. Brain has won our last 2 games, by the way, so maybe there's
Broken
to that.
Probably because of his huge brain.
Isn't his arch nemesis Dr. Spleen?
Dr. Spleen, yeah.
Is that in the lore?
It's the opposite of the brain.
Is his brain huge because of length, width, girth?
His brain kind of looks like the Tidal waste box.
That's true.
You've been a great audience. Thank you. That's the way you do that. You do a callback when you're doing a comedy show, and then you go like, all right, I'm out.
I like the fact that some cards add other cards to the deck, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. So like when you play a card, you're like, oh, should I play this card because it's going to do this? But maybe you want it to do it because like there's cards that add robots into the deck, and that's going to just speed the game up because we're all going to die faster. But that card was probably had like a lot of people on it. I don't remember.
It did. Yep. So actually, there's several that are like that. The shelter, that was a bunker that did that. But then there's shelters that make the next event card come. But yeah, usually it's, I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic to look at how much money it costs to play the card versus how many people it gives you. And I think obviously there's a relationship there between if it's giving you more people, the card's probably not as good. If it gives you less people than the cost, then the card is probably really good. So there's that dynamic in there too. But again, it's for what it is. It's I guess maybe, you can say a similar thing about Dominion in this case. It's giving people access to a type of game that's probably easier to get into it in this package than it is in other packages.
All right, let's talk about the art. Pros, cons. Do we like this style of art?
Yes, very much. I do. Because it just reminds me of, like, it's just like kind of a cool, like it looks kind of retro, but also kind of crummy.
I don't mind the art. I would say, I don't know, Rio Grande Games, I think, needs to step up the production a little bit. And I think the art could be fine. I don't know. It just feels like it's...
Yeah, that's it. The art is great.
Yeah.
The cardboard is like...
Yeah, the component quality is like...
It definitely feels like a Rio Grande game.
Yes.
Like, when you get a Rio Grande game, like, you know what to expect. This is it.
Yeah. See,
but the art...
I would also expect it to be like $10 cheaper than every other game, and I don't think they actually are.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think this game's all that expensive, though.
No, I think this was in the $40 range, I think.
That's pretty good.
I mean, there's not much to it. It's just a bunch of cards. The card quality's not bad, though, I don't think.
No, I haven't noticed
It's
it.
not terrible, like-
dingy.
No, and I've played it quite a bit so far.
And you move cards quite a bit because you're drawing and discarding and things that come from that.
You
it.
Yeah, you definitely do that.
I think that if someone was to show me this cover, though, I would think this game was 15 years old, which is kind of fun.
Oh,
I suppose.
100%.
But again, that kind of alludes to what we were saying before.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what they're going for,
Who's got cons?
I think we've done some of them mixed in there.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
it's kind of swingy.
my
and what you
biggest
draw.
one is like, it's not that big of a con because the game's short, but I mean, I knew I wasn't going to win halfway through the game, 3/4. I mean, like, you could just see the writing on the wall that I was the one that was going to go out first. I could just sense it.
I think it's kind of nice in that regard. Again, I'm bringing up Ponzi's game because there's just a lot of similarities in what it feels like. I think, honestly, you win just by not going out. Like, sure, you may not have the most points in the end, and that's the extra winner, but like just scraping by long enough to outlast somebody else, like that's a win within itself.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think the thing is, I think I've never seen anybody like stabilize.
I don't think you can. Because
I know, or eke it out, or like just, live. I've never seen anybody catch up once it's done. Like, it's like if you're on the downward slide and you're downward sliding first, then you're probably going to be the one that goes out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I don't think they're by the time
like maybe I'll draw the card that I need, or I can do this or that.
Well, Tim mentioned that kind of gave him some extra juice to survive a little bit longer. But I mean, I think really that's the point of the robots, is to just once the robots start hitting, for the most part, people are probably done building.
I do
not
want to
building new cards, but like building their engine to be more successful.
I do want to go back and hit a couple of pros. I do like all the different robots are cool, and they're not just all these people are going to die. And the same thing with the events, and some of the cards counteract the events, which is nice. And I like how all the robots also kind of do something. Like one of them gave you an action if you spent something, which is like huge.
Yeah.
Because you only get to do 4 actions every time you go through the deck. And my other big pro, like just in general, every time I played this the first time with like a new player, they'll be like, oh, look at all I get to work like 4 out of the 6 cards or whatever. Like, look at all the stuff I got to do.
Just wait.
Yeah, and then halfway through the game, you're like, I need a work card. Give me a work card. And like people are like chanting work. And like when they hit it, everyone cheers because you finally get to do something good and like stem all the bleeding from all the people murdering.
On the fun counter note to that, in our game, the last round, all of our works came out so fast, and we looked and saw how much deck was left and no works, and we were like, yeah, this is probably going to be the last round. So that was kind of fun to see that, too.
Exactly.
I think one really nice thing about the gameplay, though, is the way the deck gets built. If you're paying attention to like what is happening, that's just going to happen every time the deck goes through. So like if a card gets added and it does something weird that could be bad, but you can capitalize on because of a card in your hand, then it means you can play skillfully and choose what card you play. If maybe it is not the best for your tableau, but it helps mitigate like something that would be a disaster for you. So I do like that aspect of the cards in the game.
Yeah, that's why they tell you to put the 2 twists you're playing with face up at the beginning, because especially early on, those can make a huge deal in like your strategy or how you play it, because they can affect. A lot of them are conditional based on different things.
But not just that, like cards can get added to the deck based on what people are playing, and you might want to like change what you build based on that too.
Right. Any more cons?
Well, I do have one con, and I think that you can get kind of hosed in your card draw here, which is just like that just happens when you play cards. So that's not a con to me, but I think that like basically for this game to get a higher score, there would be some way to like maneuver if you were like getting shellacked. Maybe some type of like, like objectives that you could go for. Like if you're getting rocked, like, oh, hey, I need to pivot and like this will get me back in there. Not just like giving people something like when they first get hit or whatever. Like, that, or maybe just like, how in Tapestry, you get a little tiny bonus if you're the first to finish a round.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, if you're the first person to run out of people chips, you get a free build or something like that. And like nothing major, just enough to sort of help you if you're like dipping faster than other people. I don't know.
You want her to be nice in a game with the name Bloodbath in the title?
No, maybe not nice. And so maybe there's an alternate thing that you do, like just a way that if you're smart, you can pivot if you're getting whooped on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, there's really no once you go on that slide,
just to make it interesting. Like, hey, if you're on the slide, like I don't know, like again, maybe it's like an objective that like you get like a bonus if you complete this thing that like helps you get the wind back in your sails. That
like you can shoot the moon,
or shoot the moon, or like I don't know, send a maybe take that cards that you can build that you can hold that you can only like play against people with more colonists than you or something. I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe it's totally fine the way it is. I really enjoyed playing it, but I feel like it's not necessarily like the most balanced game that's ever been built. And I could be totally wrong. I've only played it once.
Well, I think that's just kind of inherently the way this game's going to be, though. Like it's just which is
fine.
Can build the best with what they get.
It was fast and short and fun, so it's not like a huge complaint.
All right. Well, here on the Board Boys podcast, we have a 3 boing rating scale for our final thoughts time. 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. One time you can give your 4 boing game. Half boings are allowed.
I think we need to remedy that part of the thing saying one time you may give your 4 boing game.
One time
you guys, but 2 for Rob.
One time in recent memory. Hey, I feel like I defended my position quite well.
Civolution was basically 1 season apart. You went more than 1 season between.
Yeah.
It was 1 season and 1 episode.
Perfect.
Yeah. So once a season.
It's my 4 boing season of the week, of the month, of the season, of the year, of the century, as Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force would say.
Right.
So a 0 boing game of Moon Colony Bloodbath is you ain't got none apples, and your suit gets depressurized, and as a robot is ripping your head off.
All robots, no cities, no vistas.
So bad. We ain't got no vistas and we ain't got no views. That's for sure. The 3 boing game, I think, is what Campbell played tonight.
It was pretty good.
I don't know what the hell he was doing over there.
Boxes on boxes.
I think
we need an auditor over there.
For your MCBBs boys out there, is I had a card. So first of all, there was a card in the deck that gave you money for every card you have with a crate on it. I had a card that made it so I didn't have to pay food for every card that had a crate on it. And I had a card that gives you a crate on every card you build. And I had a card that let me pay food as though it were money. So, like, I was never spending food for hunger. And every food that I gained throughout, like, any other way, I just could spend as money if I wanted to. And those 4 things together, and it wasn't even really the food one as much. The other 3 were, like, a very strong combo.
All right, Tim, why don't you lead us off?
All right. I like this game. I don't know that I love this game. I would say I was one of the people that was on the I'm just struggling to survive. I went out first, my first game. The second game, I had like 5 points to Cam's 50. I think you scored, Jake, you scored 25.
29.
Yeah,
Yep.
so you were pretty comfortably still like hanging in there. I was 1 card away from dying too. And I think we both knew halfway through this game that we weren't winning it. It was basically which one of us was going to lose first. So I do think having some sort of maybe comeback, like Cam was talking about, some comeback might make me like this game better. Or if it was maybe a little bit shorter, like even shorter.
Yeah, I'm going off of Jake's. If I had not gone out first, I would have felt better about myself.
Yeah, I didn't. So
okay,
yeah. So I think I'm gonna give it a 2. It could be a 2.5, but I think we give it a 2.
Okay, I can go next. So this was the second game we played at the con, and right after Shackleton Base, so we went space theme, and I just really enjoyed it. It's just so different than a lot of other games, and I think that's one of the things that I just have grown to like the most in games. And again, Ponzi Scheme is the game that comes to mind a lot, and that's a super underrated game, I think, but I'm going to give it a 2.5. I really enjoy it. I think I could, because of the time, in the fact that it's a quick play and quick teach, it can be something that gets me involved with other people at a table and enjoying that part of it, which is not always necessarily what I do board games for. So 2.5 for me.
Here's something interesting. On the back of the box, it says Donald X Vaccarino. Moon is the second line. Colony is the third line. Bloodbath is the fourth line. That's 2 O's per line. It's pretty cool. And then it's 2 separate O's, two together O's, 2 separate O's, 2 together O's. So there you go. That just was playing that little game in my head while I shouldn't have been.
Dang.
Okay, so let me talk about this rating for the game that I'm about to give. I love that it's simultaneous. No downtime in the game. I love that it's not super long. I feel like in its current state, this game could get stale, and I wouldn't want it to get bloated by an expansion. So that's kind of a down mark for me. The other thing is I love the art and the theme. So that's like a point in its favor. I'm teetering between a 2 and a 2.5. And my gut says 2. This game's a solid 2. I would always play it. I don't think I'll ever buy it.
Okay.
Thank you, Donald X. I'd love to eat at Denny's with you.
All right. I think when I first started playing this game, it was a solid 2.5, and it's dropped to probably a 2 for me. I've played it the most. I've played it 7 or 8 times, I think. And Cam's right on the money. Like, after a while, you kind of just have seen everything, and it's still fun. I'm on the opposite side, though. I think this game needs like a little expansion, like to pump some new blood into it. Like, you don't see all the robots, so that's fine. And there's plenty of twists, that's fine. But there could be more building cards because we have to shuffle that building
deck. Oh, that's true.
deck.
And it wouldn't bloat it at all. You're right.
Yeah, you just throw in more building cards. Maybe a different event deck that you can play with instead of that event deck that just slightly changes things. Or you can like flip in different events or kind of build your own event deck.
You know, it'd be fun to add an expansion too is variable player powers that you get. Like you flip you over to your player power, like the first time you lose all your colonists.
Why are you stealing my thunder?
Were you going to say that?
Well, yeah, I mean, like there's 5 different characters in the game, but they're all the same.
Well, I knew you would say player powers, but the player power it would be
So-
fun if you get it like the first time you get it set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that could be cool. I don't
Yeah.
care how you implement it. I was going to say, like, even if their perk decks were different, a little different maybe, I don't know how else you do it. Or if you had a special power, just something.
Hey, here's
just
the
something
here's the
small.
balancer.
It's a really easy, small expansion that you could add.
Player
to it.
powers that you get the first time you get set, and you choose from a pool, so that if you're the first person to get set, you're the first person to choose the player power.
That could be cool.
And so you can work it with like how your game is going already. And so there's your bonus for being hurt, but like ultimately the person who gets set last will still get a power.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, it's good. Like, I just don't need to play it as often as I've played it a bunch in a short time frame. This would be a good one to pull out once in a while. It's short. You can teach it to anybody. The simultaneous play is great. And I think it's fairly unique how you all are playing off of one shared deck. So it is definitely a cool, unique game.
Yeah, you don't have a lot where you like, I don't know, get torn down. You usually just build and then the game's over, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's neat. All right, that'll wrap it up for Moon Colony Bloodbath. On the War Boys podcast, we like to look a year in the past at the bumper dump. Cam?
Baby, turn around. I wanna see that sexy board game go. Board Boys bump.
Or dump.
All right, 1 year ago, Botanicus. It was 7.6 for 3588 is now 7.3. I mean, Jake's looking at it, so you can't
Oh,
say it.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at my score.
I mean, it's a bump, right?
It's
mean,
gotta
it's
be a
definitely-
bump.
Yeah, not as big of a bump as I thought it would. I mean, it went down 0.3. It's a 2243.
I mean, I haven't heard people being like, Botanicus is the game of the year either, so.
Yeah,
It's
besides
true.
you, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't cooled on Botanicus, but, like, I found that, like, I don't know if I love it physically as much as I like it digitally. It just works so well digitally. And
I really like Botanicus. Cam was kind of singing its praises early, and I liked it right away. But I think I guess it's been a little bit since I've played it now. But I got it from my mom for Christmas, and I played it with her several times. And it's just, I think the thing I like the most about it is you just can't do anywhere near the amount of things you want to do, and so I always just want to do more, which always makes me want to play it more. So
You know, I thought of my Botanicus gripe, and this is why I have that, like, hinky feeling, is that's absolutely right. You can never do everything you want to do. However, when you play on the advanced player boards, if you're not just straight going for the frog, I think you're making a huge mistake. Like, the frog just seems above and beyond better than any other
the
of
frog is super good.
upgrades that you get. The frog, for those who have played Botanicus but don't remember what I'm saying, it's the one that lets you get to the end of the money track, which is very easy to get to the end of, and get a yellow plant and a blue plant, level 1 and level 4. So, and level 4 plants are like
Super hard.
extremely valuable and take forever to get any other way.
Nice. Yeah, I've played it a couple times as well. It has not been as big of a hit with non-gamers as I thought it would be. I think there's more to it than there meets the eye.
It's very gamer. You have to be planning the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why Jake likes it.
It's been a miss for the non-gamer folks that I thought would like it.
But non-gamers won't score like 270 points or whatever like gamers will.
Yeah, and I like it on BGA as well. I played it a couple times on BGA. So.
I will say I don't love playing 2-player where you use and 3-player. Do you mark off a neutral one too, or just 2 players? Where you close?
I think it's just 2 players, but I don't like the neutral one either.
Because I don't like that.
That adds a take that aspect of the game that like the game doesn't need. Because you're like, I don't know. I like 4 players. I think 4 players is the best way to do it by a lot.
I think so too. And when I play with my mom, we just always put it on the top one. So
here's why the 4-player version is the best is because in a 3-player version you still have 2 good choices, but the 4-player version actually gets you into the mix of like maybe going on top of somebody, which is I think a good part of the game. So Botanicus is still good, still a 3 for me.
Yeah, I haven't played it since. So, all right, if you want to give us feedback, you can do so at the Board Game Geek Guild. You find that through our website. We got Rob Cooper says, I seem to recall this one went well on the podcast, but for Botanicus for me is certainly a game. Has a similar turnover mechanic to many games, and when you're penalized for taking stronger actions, which is nice. But I'm not keen on this one. Keen on the move a track along and select your action thing. It just doesn't gel with the style of playing. The base game is fine and would play again. Not so keen on the advanced game. Noting you only played that on BGA. David Moore, he loves this. He always loves the King Domino style turn selection mechanic. The tracks and how it affects each action is really unique along with the fun puzzle of laying out your garden to satisfy your goals. Highly recommended and considering it picking up for himself. 3 boings. Then Jeremy Thoman, this one was fun once I sat down and played it. The action selection and determining a bonus and turn order was fun for the game. Building the right flower pots for the goals for the row is also fun to work towards bonuses. Getting bonuses as you move each track feels good too. 2.5 boings. That's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 17, Episode 8, Moon Colony Bloodbath. You can go to theboardboys.com and check out all the links there. You can go to our Patreon and support us. You can go to our Discord link and talk to us if you want to do that. And play some BGA games with Cam. Cam's down to like, I don't know, like only 1 game, I think, on BGA. So invite him to BGA games.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm at like 30 or 40. Hey, this is a thing. My 10-year BGA anniversary sounds better when you say it like that. BGA anniversary is the 27th of October, and I am about 20 games away from having completed 5,000 games on BGA.
Woo-woo.
So I'm trying to make those 2 dates intersect, or be the same date. I'm trying to play game 5,000 on the 27th. So
we'll
see if I can make that happen.
Come play BGA games with Cam.
Yeah. Also, I'm really working hard to get that music channel.
That music channel is popping.
It's popping off. I've been doing polls like basically every couple of days.
So I got a friend group that does like a submit a song into like, call it, I don't know, like Cards Against Humanity style. Everybody you give a prompt, everybody picks a song, and then everybody votes on their favorite song for that prompt or whatever.
Yeah.
We could start something like that. I thought that would be very interesting.
Have I told you guys about Playlist Club?
Yeah.
Rob was in the Playlist Club, and like that was just too gamery and too nerdy. But that's pretty. Because
there's only one song, you just vote on the song. And,
did I tell you guys about my idea for a Everyman website recently? And this is also a music thing, or it can just be a pop culture thing. But it's a website standalone, kind of like Wordle, that does like basic stat keeping, so you can kind of like match with other people to see like. It's just a 4-item tournament bracket. So 2, like matchup 1, matchup 2, and then the championship. And you just put 4 things that like every day there's just 4 things on there. Like maybe it's like Michael Jackson songs, Beat It, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Free Willy, And then what you have to do is you have to do the tournament bracket and do like an NCAA bracket. And then basically you get a point if you get any of the matchups right, and you get like 3 points if you get them all right or something. And then it just keeps your stats, so you can you just have an overall score. And there's just a leaderboard. And there would just be a website you go to called like tournament.com or something like that.
Sounds fun.
It would be fun, right?
Yeah.
So
Rob will make it for you.
Who's a web developer? Rob,
Rob.
could you make that for me?
No.
You know who can make websites? ChatGPT.
Can Jared make a website for me? Jared, I know you're not listening. Can you do this for me? Tournament.com. That doesn't exist, right?
I own the domain for that, actually. So
Yeah.
$250,000 if you want to buy that.
exactly. I'll trade you Terrascape.
Oh, hey, what about the4banger.com? It's a 4banger.
I'm gonna guess that's already been taken too.
I'm not putting that in.
If you guys saw Tim's face when he said that, it was grody.
All right, well, on that note, I'm going to thank our patrons, BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, and Jeremy Thoman. Thank you so much for supporting us. You also can support us by going to theboardboys.com/Patreon or giving us 5-star iTunes or Spotify reviews. And Cam's saying that the 4banger...
The 4banger.com is not taken.
There you go. So better go buy up that domain and sell it to Cam for $1 billion. Until next time, we hope you like board games.
Dude, 4banger.com is on sale for $1,000.